Okay, here we've removed our drywall, we've removed our bullnose. When we took our bullnose out, it took this piece underneath here out. That piece is just fine because we're going to cover that up with our molding. The end here, what we'll do is we'll come back with a little bit of spackling on each side and we'll repaint that the same color. Once we put our mold up and our windowsill sitting here, that'll look just fine. Okay, the next step what we're going to do is we're going to use our table router and we're going to route our edges here. I do have my safety glasses on, and when you do this you want to make sure that you have the right side. I picked the better of the two sides when I placed this in there and got it fitted. So we want to keep this as the top piece. The top is going to go down to be routed. As you can see, there's a little rougher cut on this side. Okay, now we're going to take this and we're going to sand the top of this. I've already pre-sanded it. We're going to sand it once again and it'll be ready to be painted and installed. Okay, I'm just finishing up painting my piece here. It's easier to paint the shell, the windowsill before it goes in, and then you can get all sides of it and get it waterproofed even on the bottom, where we won't have access to it once we mount our windowsill. But it's starting to take shape here, and it's starting to look like an actual windowsill. And when we're done here, we will have a professional installation, and that'll look pretty good. And it was not too hard to do. We're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then we'll come right back to it. Okay, what we're going to do here is cut this trim. I'm using the block in place of a chop saw. Okay, I've cut both ends of my trim. I'm just putting a coat of paint on now before I actually install this, because this is going on a different colored wall. I won't have to worry about taping off and painting while it's installed. I will have to do some touch-up once it is installed, but it's easier than just trying to paint the whole thing. Okay, cutting these pieces can be kind of difficult. This tool over here, this block, is going to help you do your angles. What you want to do is a back-to-back 45. Your thick piece is going to be on the inside. Your thin piece is going to be on the outside. And when you cut your angles, you're going to piece them together like this. We're going to use our trim nails and mount this right below our windowsill to cover up any gaps, any flaws that we have. And we have one of these for each side. So when we're completed, it'll look like a nice finished product. Okay, we've prepped and painted our windowsill, and as you can see, some gaps back here and along here, over here. Those are okay. We're going to fill those in with our caulking. Right now what we're going to do is screw this down and set it, and after that we're going to put in our trim piece here. So let's go ahead and put this in. Okay, right now I'm screwing the windowsill down. I've got a few screws in place here. What you want to do when you do this is you want to countersink them just a little bit, and then we'll come back with wood putty, go over it. If you don't countersink them, You won't be able to put wood putty down and you'll know there's a screw there. We don't want our screws to be seen when we're completed here. Get our last screw here. And you still see our gaps. Once again, we'll fill those gaps in with our caulking, and you'll never know they were ever there. But let's come along. We're almost done. Just a couple more things to do. Okay, mounting the pieces underneath here. Oh, I'm using finishing nails to do the trim piece. And finishing nails, if you can see, have a tiny head on them, and that tiny head is so that you can countersink these into here. Once I've got these put in, I'll go ahead and countersink them with this little tool here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put in our piece here to square this off. You see a little gap that it creates when you put that in there? That's okay. We're going to fill that in. Go ahead and, once again, a finish nail.